Hello and welcome to Export Digest, your #1 program that periscopes Nigeria's non-oil sector. On Export Digest, we bring you information that helps you see economic possibilities in non-oil exports, a sector we strongly believe is Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange earnings. On the program, we highlight several opportunities and explore strategies to exploit these opportunities as we seek to identify and profile solutions to challenges in the sector. Our goal is to enable practitioners and policymakers improve on their respective roles as it relates to export business. My name is Mayoku Akwaterabo.
Hello, I'm Denise.
My name is Yinka Titiloye. I'm a farmer. Welcome to the Itagro Model Farm.
I'm Craig Waters from Oklahoma State University.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
For 2 episodes of Export Digest, we have brought to you the benefits of value addition and how you can plug into the different stages of any commodities value chain and make it big by just adding value. That is, taking an item and creating that niche with it, going that little extra mile to make an item unique, presentable, and economically rewarding for you and the global consumer. Today on the program, we shall present value addition as a way out of what any businessman would otherwise see as a no-go area in export business. Boldly displayed on the Nigeria Customs Service website is a list of items that are banned from being exported from Nigeria. The common term for such item is contraband. This is not a strange thing, as different countries have their policies as to what you cannot bring in or take out of their soil. So Nigeria has its policy in this regard. The export prohibition list is reviewed from time to time and items removed or added based on developments demanding so. Let's look at the current Nigeria's export prohibition list and see how value addition can make a big difference. Actually, we know and would like to share with you how you can turn around to make virtually all the items on the export prohibition list exportable. Value addition is the answer. Non-oil exports remains Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange. You also can be a big player by knowing how and what it takes to engage in profitable non-oil export business. Export Digest features experts with local and global knowledge of non-oil export business, presenting you with everything you ever need to know. Non-oil items you can export, important tips on export packaging, export documentation and regulatory standards, logistics and transportation issues from farm gate to the port and then destination country, export funding and available markets for different commodities, products and services. Don't miss Export Digest, showing on NTA News 24 Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. with a repeat broadcast Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Export Digest, promoting Nigeria's non-oil export sector. Let's join Olufemi Boyede, a certified international trade professional, as he takes us through the list and enlightens us further on value addition.
Basically, there are several reasons why government would establish an export prohibition list, or in other words, place a prohibition on certain goods from being exported. Some of these we agree with, some we will actually look at in much greater details later and probably try to justify a rethink and a rejig of the export prohibition list for Nigeria. There are 8 specific items on the export prohibition list, and before I start, I'll just run quickly through them. It's maize, timber, rough or sawn, raw hides and skins, including wet blue, scrap metals, unprocessed rubber, latex and rubber lumps, artifacts and antiquities, wildlife, animals classified as endangered species and their products, and then all goods that are imported. Now, why would government want some of these goods to be prevented from being exported? And let me quickly say that the export prohibition list is being reviewed from time to time. For example, about 3 years ago, yam and other tubers were actually included on the export prohibition list. At a point in time in Nigeria, maize, sorghum and some of those other grains that go into the production of malt extract actually were providing a very heavy drain on Nigeria's foreign exchange, because most of the companies, I don't want to restrict that to breweries, well, most of the breweries and even those who were making soft drinks like the malt that use grains as base for their raw materials were importing all of this wholesale. Number two, exportation of maize has a direct negative impact on food security and sufficiency in Nigeria, and therefore you would imagine that maize in its raw form has to be placed on the export prohibition list. The point we are trying to make on this episode of Export Digest is the fact that value addition actually allows you to transform some of the items on the export prohibition list into value added intermediate products or outright finished products, and then you can export them. Maize is one of them.
Why is maize on the export prohibition list? Let's take a pause to ask. I would have thought that the abundance, or should I say the availability of maize in Nigeria, should make it an item that one can freely export. There is hardly any part of Nigeria that you cannot grow or find maize. Even in regions where rainfall is low, maize grows. Why would government ban the exportation of maize? Let's seek to understand.
A lot of people out there have been used to custard. Ogi is Nigeria's version of custard, and Nigerian entrepreneurs that are now engaged in food packaging have perfected the technology to mill the corn and make it ready for preparation in whatever country that you export it. So while you may not export maize in the raw form, you can export ogi. And of course, we know that ogi has quite a lot of a variety of foods that you can make out of it, not just the pap. Of course, there is bakery that you can also make from the milled flour, and all manners of cakes that you make out of the corn flour.
Let us look at other items on the prohibition list, why they feature there, and how value addition can be employed to make them exportable.
Timber in the rough or sawn form have been placed on export prohibition for a long time because Nigeria has been identified to be actually to have a very big potential in the exportation of furniture components. And so the reason why timber, rough or sawn, will be on export prohibition list is to enable the establishment of a local industry, to enable the investment in production, in processing up to furniture component. So while you may not export timber, there is nobody stopping you, for example, from preparing the framework for a bed, for a chair, an armchair, for a table, a dining table, and all of those, preparing the profiles, they call them profiles, Just like we go out and import furniture and you see people, all you need to do is to couple them. The idea is to let Nigerians go all the way to the point of preparing some of these, what do we call them now, the furniture components, like I call them. You have 2x4 that keys into a 5x6, for example, and by the time it's all coupled, what you have is a bed. The second reason why timber will be on export prohibition is because our forests are already being depleted. These days it's very, very difficult to see a forest reserve that is actually being preserved, for two reasons: for the vegetation and then for the fauna, that is the game reserve inside the forest. They needed to be protected. And you keep asking yourself, I remember my very first landing in Maryland in America, all the way from the airport down to the downtown Greenbelt. It was very thick vegetation, like the rainforest in Nigeria. And then it occurred to me, oh, they're going to preserve their own greenery and come and deplete our own forests to make the furniture. So again, coming to the point of value added exports, when you go into the forest, you fell the trees, bring them out, and are able to make to order furniture components, you can actually export them. The other part of the exportation or the non-exportation of timber is for every state government that is granting a license for people to take timber log out of the reserve forest. There is a backward integration policy that says that you must plant another. In some states it is fell one, plant three, so that reforestation is going on as you are exploiting the forest reserves. Again, as a matter of implementation, if we were able to do this, then we can actually exploit the economic benefit of exportation of furniture components.
I'm Magdalene Palmer.
My name is Toyin Yunusiri. I'm based in the US.
I'm Ken from Soken Ife.
Keep watching Export Digest.
And I would recommend very strongly that you come along.
Keep watching Export Digest.
You're tuned to Export Digest, and we're looking at value addition as a way around the export prohibition list. We have looked at the first two items on the list, maize and timber, either in its raw form or sun. The next item will interest those who love to eat momo, particularly those who reside in far countries far away from home.
Raw hides and skins, you only need to take a visit to Kano, to Jos, to Kaduna, and see what our people are doing with tanned leather. Naraguta has been there since anyone cares to remember. And today, if you went to Kano, you would see, I think, I'm trying to remember the name, Mamuda Industries in Kano, Unique Leather, Trends Venerate, Mario Jose, and all those guys have taken the exportation of what do you call it, processed leather, tanned leather, to bigger heights. And if you visit Mamuda especially, you are likely to imagine that you are actually in Spain or in Italy. The kind of state-of-the-art machinery and equipment that have been installed is principally because of the ban placed on the exportation of raw hides and skins. And so now people understand that for you to be able to take this out, it needs to be exported. So even the local tanneries, like I mentioned in Naraguta, in Jos, for example, in Sokoto, everybody is now trending to value-added export of tanned leather. The very first leather products that we were involved in taking out of Nigeria as far back as 1990 to the World Universal Exposition in Sevilla in Spain, Nigerian leather was smelling. Beautiful, fantastic puffs. That puff is what you have in your center table as decoration and what have you, produced from Sokoto, were rejected and actually seized at the airport because the leather smelled. But today, because you know that you cannot export all of this in the raw form in which they used to be exported, now value is being added, and Nigeria is now a very significant exporter of tanned leather. Some call it finished leather. And like I said, it is also helping us to establish smaller industries like production of belt, of shoes, of bags for the women, and all allied products from leather. So we believe that value-added exports, of course, will be prompted, will continue to be propelled by retaining the exportation of raw hides and skins on the export prohibition list. Scrap metals is number 4 on the list of export prohibition. The truth is, on Export Digest, we have done about 2 or 3 episodes on waste to exports. And for a company in Ota, for example, our attention was drawn to it the first time about 2 years ago, when we had to go and actually inspect a company in Ota that was exporting billions of naira, well, equivalent, yes, as high as $1 billion worth of aluminium ingot, and guess what, exporting to Mitsubishi, Honda and Toyota in Japan. And that's just one company. There are about 10 of them. There is an expanse almost 1.5 kilometers from the Otaidi Roko Road. Inside 1.5 kilometers is companies that are recycling scrap metals and exporting them as aluminium ingots. Now imagine the environmental problem that this would have been. On the other hand, also imagine us exporting jobs to the advanced countries by just exporting our scrap metals. The guys who do the recycling will be the ones making a kill. Today it is recorded as one of Nigeria's largest exports. And so scrap metals remains on the export prohibition list, but you can add value. You can smelt them and export them as aluminium ingots. In fact, some of those companies are already transforming the scrap metals into electrical conveyors, for example, electrical cables. And you just imagine that is the cans that you and I throw away, the engine blocks that are condemned, that everything you go to the mechanics workshop that you think is actually of no value. Actually, when you start converting them and adding value, they become what? Very hot export products. Unprocessed rubber is the same as scrap metal in our concept of value-added export. Of course, the fact that it's unprocessed already makes it a disadvantage for Nigeria, but an industrial opportunity for the country of destination. So what's government saying? No, add value before you export.
If you're just joining us, we are prescribing ways of adding values to items listed as contrabands in order to make them exportable. We've treated maize, timber, raw hides and skins, and scrap metals.
To enable Nigerians optimize the benefits from the country's vast agricultural products such as cassava, oil palm, rice, tomatoes and others, the Bank of Industry has launched a 5 billion naira cottage agro-processing fund, the CAP Fund. Customers can access the fund to establish plans to process our various agro-produce into food products or intermediate raw materials for industries at a single-digit interest rate of 9% per annum. For more information on the CAP Fund, please visit www.boinigeria.com/capfund. Bank of Industry, developing Nigeria's agro-processing industry through the CAP Fund.
Is your business registered with the Corporate Affairs Commission?
No, but why do I need to register my business?
Oh, it means you are running an unregistered business, which is unacceptable and illegal. Moreover, you are losing a lot of benefits. Register your business now with the Corporate Affairs Commission to enjoy opportunity to own corporate accounts with banks, business patronage from both public and private organizations across the world, numerous government interventions and programs for small businesses like yours, and access to various grants and loans for small businesses like ours. CAC has simplified and made business registration easy. You can register it all by yourself by visiting our office at plot 565 Ndola Square off Michael Okpara Street, Zone 5, Wuse, Abuja, or register online by visiting the CAC Company Registration Portal at services.cac.gov.ng or call 081-822-99016. Hurry now and register your business and watch your business flourish. The Corporate Affairs Commission, committed to prompt and efficient service delivery.
That's our bumper package of Export Digest today. We thank you for joining us. You can watch this particular episode and others before it on our YouTube channel www.youtube.com/Export Digest. Do send in your comments, observations and contributions to our different channels of communication now showing on your screen. Non-oil exports remains Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange. You also can be a big player by knowing how and what it takes to engage in profitable non-oil export business. Export Digest features experts with local and global knowledge of non-oil export business, presenting you with everything you ever need to know. Non-oil items you can export, important tips on export packaging, export documentation and regulatory standards, logistics and transportation issues from farm gate to the port and then destination country, export funding and available markets for different commodities, products and services. Don't miss Export Digest, showing on NTA News 24 Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. with a repeat broadcast Fridays at 8:30 p.m. Export Digest, promoting Nigeria's non-oil export sector. You can advertise your products and services on Export Digest. All you need to do is contact us and see us grow your business with you. Join us next week on Export Digest. I am Mayokum Akwaterabo. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.